Hi everyone, this is Music Theory Intermediate Level, Lesson 4 Exercises. We've been talking about key signatures, and I want to do some exercises to help us identify different key signatures to figure out what keys they are matching with. So, we're going to use some of the exercises from musictheory.net. So, on the top menu, click Exercises, and we're going to use the key signature identification exercise. So let's go ahead and click on that. And before we get started, I want to make sure to adjust the settings so that we get exactly the kind of exercise we need right now. So let's go to clefs, and if you want to use alto clef or tenor clef, you can. You can also use treble clef or bass clef, whatever works. I'm going to use the grand stuff so that we can see them back to back on treble clef and bass clef. I think that's useful just so that you guys get used to seeing them on both clefs. So let's do that. All right, so for key signatures, for today, we're going to go up to 5 flats and 5 sharps. So we're going to leave these two for another time. And for note names, we're going to use letters. And I'm actually going to order them in fifths with A in the center. And I'll show you why in a second. So I'm just going to pick that for now. And we're going to stick with major for now. Let's not do the others. Let's do major because the trick that I'm going to show you guys of how to make key signatures and how to recognize key signatures works for all major keys. There's also a trick for minor keys, but we're not going to talk about it today. We're going to start with the major keys. So let's stick with that. And that's good. Everything else is fine. Okay, so when we have a key signature, how do we go about figuring out what key that is? So there are a few ways to do it. In fact, musictheory.net has an exercise, not an exercise, but a lesson in this that is the next lesson after key signatures. They use a system with math, like doing a numerical calculation to figure out all the keys. And I didn't learn that way. It's not a traditional way that this is taught usually. So maybe we will cover it just so you guys see how that works. But I'm going to show you guys the traditional way that key signature identification is taught in basically every music school, which is using what's called the circle of fifths. So the reason why I ordered our note names in the bottom in fifths, meaning a fifth interval, a perfect fifth interval, is because there is a really neat kind of feature of music major scales and key signatures that allows us to figure out every sharp and flat key by following a pattern of perfect fifth intervals, starting from C natural, which is a completely natural key that has no sharps or flats. So if we start from C natural and we go up a perfect fifth, up the scale, we have G natural, and that's gonna be our first flat, our first sharp key. And for that matter, I'm actually gonna switch over to another tab that I have open here to show you guys a nice diagram. This is called the circle of fifth diagram. You can find these all over the internet. It's a pretty easy thing to find. But I'm going to show you guys here, and then we're going to go back to the exercise and we're going to try it out. So starting in C natural, which has no sharps or flats, and this is for major keys only. If we go up a perfect fifth, which would be G natural, and I'm going to pull up the keyboard so that you guys see that. So we'll start from C natural. G natural is a perfect fifth, and just remember that a perfect fifth is 6 semitones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 semitones. Sorry, I might have said 6. 7 semitones. That's a perfect fifth. So from C natural to G natural, we have our first sharp key, and that's going to have one sharp, and remember the first sharp is F sharp. Our next fifth above G natural is D natural. So G, D. That's a perfect fifth. D natural is going to have two sharps, F sharp, and our next sharp, C sharp. If we continue the process, the next perfect fifth above D natural is A natural. And A natural is going to have three sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. So you see, we're just adding sharps every time we go up a fifth. And we continue this process all the way down to F sharp and C sharp. These are the final keys with 6 sharps and 7 sharps. We're not going to use those for the exercises today, but I just want you to see them. Now, the flat keys are, use a very similar process. We start with C natural, but instead of going up a perfect fifth, we're going to go down a perfect fifth from C natural. So if you look at our keyboard here, C natural, if we go down a perfect fifth, that's going to be F natural this time. So remember that up a perfect fifth was G, down a perfect fifth is F. So F natural is our first flat key, has a B flat, a single flat. So the next perfect fifth down from F natural is going to be B flat. Let me show you F natural. The lower perfect fifth below that is B flat. So B flat, we're going to add another flat to that. We're going to have 2 flats for this key. So the next perfect fifth below B flat is E flat. So B flat, E flat. And E flat's going to have 3 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat. As I'm doing this, take note of not only the placement of the flats on the staff, but the order in which I'm reading them. The order is very important. Remember, we always read from left to right, always. So B flat, E flat, A flat. 3 flats. So the next perfect fifth below E flat is A flat. So E flat, A flat. A flat's going to have 4 flats. B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat. And all the way down to G flat. So the next one will be D flat with 5 flats. And finally G flat, which is 6 flats. As you can see, there's an overlap between the 2 key signatures. The 2 last key signatures in sharps and flats overlap with one another. In the direction of the sharps, we have F sharp and we have C sharp at the end. And in the direction of the flats, we have D flat and G flat at the end. And now, this is exactly the main reason why enharmonic spellings exist. An enharmonic spelling, if you are not familiar with this term, is using a different letter name to write the same pitch, the same sound. In this case, F sharp and G flat are the same pitch, even though they're written differently. They have different enharmonic spellings. Let me show you in the keyboard so that you see exactly what I mean. So, if we start from F natural, and we raise that a half step, we end up with F sharp, right? If we start with G natural now, and we lower that by a half step, we end up with G flat. But as you can see, lowering a G natural and raising an F natural left us with the same black key. That pitch is the same pitch. It's just spelled with different enharmonic spellings in this case. The reason why this rule exists is because, as I mentioned before, we never want to have key signatures that have a mix of sharps and flats. That's never going to happen in the rules of Western music, which is the rules of music that were created from the Western classical music tradition. So just keep that in mind. We're never going to mix and match. If we didn't follow this rule and we decided to, instead of using D flat for the flat keys, we use C sharp, then we'd have a bunch of flats and then one C sharp in the key signature by itself. That wouldn't make sense when we can spell it as a flat instead. So this is a very important distinction to make. I forgot also the overlap here. B natural and C flat is also an overlap. So C flat would be 7 flats and B natural would be 5 sharps. Okay, so just after having done that, let's do a few exercises and look up circle of fifths and a circle of fifth diagram so you can see this at home. Or you can pause this in the video so that you can take a screenshot or whatever you want to do as well. So let's talk about this. So I've laid out the buttons down here in perfect fifths so that we can take advantage of the rules of the circle of fifths. So starting in C natural, we have a sharp here, and this is a single F sharp. So a single F sharp is going to be our first step in the circle of fifths going up for sharps. So C natural, first step is G natural. So G major is going to be this key signature. Remember, this rule works specifically for major keys. Minor keys are different, and we have a very easy but different rule to get those. So that's G major. Okay, so we have a flat key. We have 3 flats here. B flat, E flat, A flat. So we're going to start from C natural, and we're going to go down the circle of fifths. A perfect fifth down from C natural brings us to F natural. That's our first flat key. B natural, that's 2 flat key. And finally, E flat major has 3 flats. So you see, if you follow this rule, it's very, very easy to figure out any key signature. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sharps. So following this rule of the circle of fifths, sharp keys, we're going to go up the circle of fifths, starting in C natural. So G natural is our first sharp. D major is our second, 2 sharp key signature. A major is our 3 sharp key signature. E major is 4 sharps. And B major is 5 sharps. All right, let's do another flat key signature. So this is 5 flats. 1, B flat, E flat, A flat, D flat, G flat. So we're going to go down the circle of fifths for the flat keys, starting in C natural. F natural. F major is our first flat. B flat major is our second flat. E flat major is our third flat. A flat, wait, I think I miscounted. Sorry. F major is our first flat. B flat is our second flat. E flat is our third flat. A flat is our fourth flat. And D flat is our fifth flat. Okay, that should be it. Great. Let's try a few more, and I'm going to show you another little trick that I find very helpful, that I remember learning when I was a kid from my teachers, that may help you out as well. There's another little trick to sharp keys and flat keys that has to do with the order and also the leading tone. So in sharp keys, let's calculate the circle of fifths. C, G, D, and A is 3 sharps. Now, A major, it also so happens that the last sharp of the key signature is G sharp. And if you remember, G sharp in A major is the 7th degree on the scale. And not just the 7th degree of the scale, but the leading tone of A major. The leading tone is the 7th degree of a scale that is separated by the first degree by a half step. In all major keys, the 7th degree is a leading tone. Every major key has this feature. We can never have lowered 7 on a major key. So in sharp major keys, the last sharp of the sequence is always the leading tone of the key that the key signature belongs to. So in this case, G sharp is the last sharp. If we go up a half step, that's A, and that brings us to A major. All right? Now, there's a similar rule for flats. So in flats, let's find the key with the circle of fifths methods first, and then I'll show you the other rule. So this is two flats, so we need to go down the circle of fifths. C, F natural, B flat. B flat major is our 2-flat key. Now, let me show you something. For the flats, there's another quick trick. In key signatures with flats for the major keys, the key signature or the key that the key signature belongs to is always going to be the note where the second to last flat falls. So in this case, we have two flats, B flat and E flat. So this is the last flat. The second to last is B flat. That lets us know that this key signature is going to be B flat major. Let's try a few more. Oh, we just had A major. Let me quickly get through this one so we can get another one. Now, B flat, the rule with the flats, that obviously doesn't work for a single flat because we don't have two flats. We don't have a second to last flat. Just remember that the first flat is always going to be F natural. That's very easy to remember. Okay, cool. So we have 4 flats here. Let's use the rule that I mentioned. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4 flats. The last flat is D flat, and the second to last flat is A flat. That tells us that this key is A flat major. So 2 flats, we just did this one before. B flat, E flat. The second to last flat is B flat. That means it's B flat major. Let's do one with sharps. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. So in sharps, remember the rule is the last sharp is the leading tone of the key. D sharp is the leading tone of E natural. So that's going to be E major. 3 sharps. A major keeps popping up. Let's skip that. We already did F natural. This is F major. I want to see. Oh, okay. So we have a natural key. If you remember, C major is the only natural major key. Let's try this one. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp. A sharp is our last sharp. The leading tone, A sharp is the leading tone of B natural. So this key is going to be B major. 1 flat is F major. Come on, give me one with more flats. B major, we just did this one. I just want to find one key with more flats so I can show you guys. Anyway, we've done this one. This is B flat major. It's the second to last flat. And it doesn't want to give me one. Anyway, you guys get the point. This rules, the circle of fifths, which is the most important rule because that's the one that truly explains you the relationship between the keys. And then the shorthand kind of trick that I showed you guys with sharps, the last sharp being the leading tone of the key. And with flats, the second to last flat falls right on the key. Remember those rules and you'll be able to identify key signatures in no time very quickly. Okay, guys, so just remember this exercise and try it at home so you get familiar with them. See you guys later.